Hello Loomers, this is Chidero, and today I'd like to show you a bracelet that I loomed, which was completely inspired by Seawolf. I was watching one of her tutorials a few days back and was watching how she was doing her rosebud bracelet, or she was just showing how you could add flowers, baby's breath, a bumblebee, just different things to the bracelet, and it was really awesome. So big thumbs up to Seawolf. If you don't know who she is, please check out her account on YouTube and Instagram. She is fabulous. So I am Italian of American descent, and with that being said, we are wine drinkers, and I was thinking about doing a grapevine. I had a bracelet, which I did show in my one tutorial of my a haul I did at Michael's and a couple other stores, I believe, that I had gotten this leaf bracelet. I could not figure out what design to loom around the bracelet, so I just cut it up. So then I was thinking about what can I do with those charms. They're really awesome. So I was inspired and I came up with this. I call it the Napa Valley bracelet. It's just a bunch of band twirling and knotting to make like a grapevine, and the leaves just kind of add a pretty awesome little look to it. So with that being said, I did purchase these leaves, and I believe it was at the Christmas tree shop. It's if you haven't heard of it, I just went to it for the first time not too long ago. That place is awesome. It hardly has any Christmas stuff in it. It has some pretty cool things. But this was just a find. I don't know if I could find it again, but I'm sure there are leaf charms out there. I know there is. If you check at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, AC Moore, any craft store, they have detailed charms in that. Go ahead and check that out and see if you can't find something. If not, flowers would be awesome in this as well, and there are a ton of different flower charms out there. So in this bracelet here, I used the Persian pink, the Persian brown, is it, or pearl brown? Should be Persian, I believe, and the Persian green. I'm sorry, I'm so not good at like the descriptive part of the colors. They are all rainbow loom bands. Even the white ones in there are the metallic white. So let's flip, and I always make a chain. I always do, because I don't want that on my wrist. So anyway, this is the back of it. As you can see, it is completely non-reversible, but it will show you knots, 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 and how these are just charms attached. So let's go ahead and look at the color palette that we are going to use today. I chose, let's see, like a little bit of regular opaque brown, the pearl or Persian brown. I believe this is some type of skin tone. I also have some of the great original Rainbow Loom purples opaques. And it's probably just maybe a DIY brand or another brand there. So as you can see, I really wanted to make it look like grapes this time. I was just really playing around. I didn't really think this bracelet would be that popular. But I'm so grateful it is. So I figured I would just shoot out a tutorial just to thank everybody for being so nice and commenting on it. Okay, so here's the deal. Because I only bought one bracelet with the leaves on it, I have to like pause this video and take this apart, and then I can loom it with you. Otherwise, I won't have any leaves to put on the bracelet. So I will be back shortly with my supplies ready and let you know what else we will need going forward. Okay, so in order to make this bracelet, the first thing we need to do is make sure that our looms are just one pin bar only. I like to put it in the middle, and that way we can work on both sides. The charms, You will need 13 because they will go on every pin. So I already have 10 of them loomed up. We will loom 3 of these together. The next thing that will go on, these little do-jiggers here, I just looped on a green and a brown band onto another band and kind of knotted it, which I'm sure you've seen in other tutorials by, let's see, Seawolf, and I can't think of the other person. I'll have to look it up and put it in the description box. But we will need 6 of those, which I have half of them done. The other thing that I made was just 2 bands that were wrapped around 4 times, which I'll have to show you and you'll be able to understand. But just try to dissimulate just a small vine of some grapes. And this one here is 2 bands put together, and I just tried to again simulate like grapevines. So the colors I will explain as we go along. So first things first, let's get our charms out. And these charms I believe that I did purchase at the Christmas tree shop, but it came on a bracelet, which I did show in my Loom haul video. You are more than welcome to go back and check that out. It came on a bracelet just like that, and I really wanted to take like Claire's Wares, I believe it was Claire's Wares, that had a bracelet with some roses or such loomed on the sides, but I couldn't figure out how to incorporate it on the bracelet, so I figured, well, like usual, I cut it up. So that's how I found these charms. If you can't find these exact charms, which may be difficult, you could use any kind of you know, a flower charm, or I'm sure there's other types of leaves. So the brown color band that I'm using is the Pearl Rainbow Loom Brown. It has the gold on the outside. So we're just going to take our looming tool, which is just what I use is jewelry wire. I cut it and bend it in half, make a V out of it. I stick my band down in. This is a rather large hole bead or charm, so it's not going to be difficult, but you can't pull too hard because it will slide right through. So that's 1. Stick the next one down in. That's 2. And that's 3. So as I mentioned before, you will need 13 of these because they will go on every single pin of your pin bar. So you can go ahead and pause the video and make your 13. The next one that we're going to make is just a little bit of a vine knot on a grapevine is what I guess my intention was. You will need 6 of these because they will go in between your pin bars. So what I used here was the Rainbow Loom, I believe it's the Pearl Green and the Pearl Brown again. But what I'd like to do, in my initial bracelet I just used brown, but this time I'd like to incorporate some green into it. So I'm going to take, I'm going to take my loom hook and I'm going to put those 2 bands on. We're going to twist it around 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. I give it a twirl to make it nice and tight. Take one of your brown bands and gently pull all of these over. And these are silicone bands, so they're a little bit sticky. But that's good because it means that they stay on. So we're going to put that in the middle, trying to make it more of like a ball shape. And then we're going to take the other side, put it back onto the loom hook. Twist your loom hook and slide it underneath the first part of the band on the hook to create a slip knot. Hold on to your knotted part and pull, and that will create the knot right here on the top I've had it slip over before, so I just try to hold on like that. So that's one. So again, we take 2 bands, twist it 4 times. Give it a little twirl to make sure that it's all together and tight. Brown band. Pushing it all over on the band. Sorry, my hands are in the way. Uh-oh. Oops, let me try that one again. I'm sorry. These are, as I mentioned, these ones are the silicone, so they're sticky. So they're not the easiest to throw back onto a band. 1, 2, 3, and plus making it 4 times just to make it a tight knit ball doesn't help either. But I'm sure you guys get the gist of it and know how by now to put these on the center of a band. Okay, let's take that and put it back on to the hook. Loop it under to make a slip knot, hold and pull tight. And one more that I will do with you, and you need again 6 total. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's stick that back onto our hook and create the slip knot. There. That I did 3 with you. So go ahead and pause the video and make 3 more of those. The next thing that I made was just, they're just little 2 wrapped bands on one other band, and that's going to stick closer to the pin. So to me it just looked like a tiny little bunch of grapes. So I used the Rainbow Loom Pearl, I believe it's either like a purple, and then my favorite band is the Pearl Pink. So I just take one of the colors, wrap it around 4 times, take your brown band or color of your choice, put this onto the band, and we're going to slide it down as far as we can without losing it on the other side. Go ahead and make your slip knot as we just did before. Oops. Okay, hold your bunch tightly so it doesn't slip knot over it. Okay, now we're going to take our second band and we're going to wrap it again 4 times. We're going to take that same bunch that we just had and we're going to slip this one on the loose part of the band. And stick it, keep it more towards the hook end. And now stick your hook inside the middle part like this. So you're kind of creating another area where you can do a slip knot. Put that in between, hold both bunches of grapes down, and now you just created 2 slip knots on one band, which makes it a tiny bunch. So again, you're going to need 6 of these, so that's 4. I guess we can wrap both bands at the same time and just stick it on the back of our hook. So I'm going to stick that one there. Keep this one separated. I apologize for my fingernails. My son and I were painting earlier. Okay, so I'm going to stick this brown band on here, and we're going to slide this up over. Okay, kind of ball it up, stick it towards the end of your band, make your slip knot, okay, now we're going to slide this other band on top, and we're going to go ahead and make another slip knot. So stick your hook in here in the middle, have both ends on your hook, slip knot it again. So you have 2 bunches of what I'm hoping are grape bunches. And the great thing is it can just be like whatever, because grapevines are, you know, have a mind of their own. Okay, last one I'll do with you. So these little ones are going on every other peg, so that's why we're only doing 6. Okay. Slip knot. Take this other one. Put it in between. Make your second slip knot. Hold tightly. And you got your last bunch. So pause the video if you need to, because you'll need 6 of these. And the last one are these grapevines or twigs. So I used Rainbow Loom's silicone purple and 2 brown bands, 3 purple. So I learned this trick off of Marlin Looms, which maybe some others have done it, but we want to extend this band and make a slip knot out of it. So you're going to take one band and hold it with one finger, weave in, take the other band with the other finger, and make a knot. So I believe Marlin Loom's Creations did this for like a crown, and she wrapped it around the head, and it was awesome, but it extends the band, so that's cool. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our 3 purple bands and loop them on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Push that down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Push that down in the middle. And our last one. 1, 2, 3, 4. So give it a twirl, it makes it tighter. Now we're going to stick all 3 of these kind of spread out onto this this brown band. So go ahead and slide this past the knot onto the first band towards the end. Be careful you don't pull it over the end of your band. Now we're going to take this second one and loop that one over, and this one's going to go exactly where the knot is because that is the middle. And our last one, push that over and kind of over by the end. So now we have 3 bunches on our vine. So we're going to need 6 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's take our 2 brown bands and hold them together like this. Grab the right one through the back of the left one through the front of the right, make a slip knot, pull it taut. Four times. 4 times. 4 times. Again, I always give it a little swirl to help make it tighten up. Take our brown extended band, let's put that on the end. Next one. So those of you that may not know, the reason I named it Napa Valley is because that's where you have a lot of grape, like vineyards, and you make grape juice or wine. And I am Italian with American descent, so we did grow up drinking grape juice or wine. My dad made homemade wine. So I was just trying to look for some type of name that would incorporate, instead of saying the word wine in the name of the bracelet, and being Napa Valley, there are flowers and all kinds of different looks, so you can incorporate different types of beads or charms and still be okay with the name of the bracelet. Okay, our last one on the vines, and you may go ahead and pause the video after this and complete the other 3. It's very simple. It's kind of suggested, in my opinion, to be an intermediate or advanced loomer when you do watch my tutorials, because they are based off of looming experience, I guess you could say, because I do not go into detail on a lot of the different things that I do, so keep that in mind. Okay, so we have all of our spare parts, all of our parts together. So the next thing we're going to do is take our loom and we're going to start adding our parts to it. So the first thing we want to do, because this is such a simple design, is we just want to loom up or add a single chain. Last one I used white, this time I want to use green. So I'm using the Rainbow Loom Pearl Green, and I'm just going to throw a single chain up to the end. It's such a pretty green. I have had this green for so long and I could not use it. I didn't know what to use it for. I am not the best person in the world for color. Like on Instagram, wave loomers, tied knots, Looming for Kaylee, Looney Mommy. Oh my gosh, they are like the color queens. But I have a little bit of work to do on color combos. So, alright, now that we have this loomed, or all the bands placed, the next thing that we're going to do is add all of our charms. So we're just going to use it as like a type of a cap band. So take both of your ends. You can use your fingers or the hook. Find that circle in the middle, and you're going to put it where the leaf is on the side. Doesn't matter which side, but it does matter if you want the look of zigzag, to do it every other side. I just thought that was a neater look. And one thing I so forgot to mention, this is the second time I've done this tutorial. The first time that I did it, I wanted to use different variations of purple, so I used my opaque purple bands, and I used regular brown and not silicone brown. And I tell you, this bracelet was so weak and very, very thin. It did not come out like you see in the picture at all. It was not thick. So this is the second time I'm doing a tutorial and going back with silicone bands in order for it to be a little bit more beefier when it's on your wrist. So you might want to keep that in mind. But if you do not have silicone bands, I just suggest highly that just double all your bands and try that. That might be another alternative in order to give it some thickness. Okay, so again, we're grabbing those two ends and we're putting them on a zigzag pattern, so when we're all said and done, our leaves will be on both sides of our bracelet. And I never create bracelets, as you know if you follow me, the whole length of my wrist, because I don't want to see the charms on the back side of my wrist. So if you do choose to do so, you would want to do this on 2 looms, so it will be wrapped around your entire wrist. Okay, so now that we have our charms on our leaves, the next thing that I would like to put on will be these little grape bunches, the ones that are going to stick closely to the peg. So remember, we have one little loop left. That's the loop that we're just going to put on. And we're going to do it on every other peg. So we're going to start on the second peg from the beginning, put it opposite of the leaf, grab that little loop and just stick it on the whole way up your loom. This is such a, it is really a simple design, just something different. But you know, all of our designs they're all just different variations of other designs. Always make sure you give credit. Gotta give credit to your loomers, the designers, because they come up with the fabulous techniques, and that's what makes different designs that form off of that. So I have this one in the wrong place. Every other. Oh my, I'm so sorry. See, I can't talk and do this at the same time. Don't make that mistake. How funny. It has to be so funny when you're watching this and like I'm just jabbering away and you want to like knock on the screen saying, hello, you're doing it wrong. I can just imagine. That's okay. I'm human. Was wondering why it didn't come out even. And I was so gonna blow it off too. but you guys are smarter than that. Okay, so we have our little tiny bunches on the opposite. It's every other peg, the opposite of the leaf. So the next thing we're going to put on here is just going to be these little vine knots. And you can put these on the every other as well, but we're going to start with the first peg. So put that loop on the opposite side of the leaf. And if you can tell, they all go on the same side because every other is zigzag. So okay, I am one short. Let me see here. I am one short. Let me put one of these on real quick if you don't mind. These are so tight on here and sticky. But makes for a good bracelet. Okay, so we put this one on our last peg. Get the twirls out of it there. Okay, so our last thing that we're going to do is put on our vines. So we're going to take one end of the vine, the loop, and we're going to put it on the first peg. And then we're going to take it, we're going to go around the second peg and attach the other end of the band onto the third peg. So again, make sure that you go around the peg there. So we're going to do the same thing on the second one. We're going to put the band on, but this time we're going to go to the right of the peg and put it on the next peg. So it's going to take up 3 pegs. 1, 2, 3, because we extended our band, and we're going to do it every other side and swirl it up the loom. So always starting and ending in the same on the same peg. They're overlapping. So again, this goes on one, bypasses the second, hooks on to the third. This goes on the last pin we just used. We just went to the left, now we're going to go to the right side. Put this on top. And we have one more left. It's going to go onto the right side. And don't worry if it's hiding over or touching the different elements on the band or on the loom, because once it's all finished we're going to adjust it. So this is what your loom should look like. So it's a busy one peg bracelet, but as you can see, this is what makes it kind of all stick together. So we're going to flip our loom around with the hole facing towards us. We're going to put a cap band on the first pin, and the only thing else we need to do is loom the bottom single chain up, and we are done. So let's go ahead in here. Oh, I'm sorry, my single chain is green, and I had a brown cap band. I would prefer to use the same color as the single chain. So carefully stick your hook down in there and grab that bottom band and ensure that you're holding on so it doesn't, your cap band does not come off, and pull that to the next peg. So again, I'm going to stick our hook down in there, grab that bottom band, and make sure you've got some room on your hook on your pin ahead. I was just messing around with this bracelet. Like, I was on Seawolf's site because I love her. Like, she's got really cool designs and awesome nails, by the way. And I was just looking at ideas on how I could have loomed this bracelet had I left it, you know, with just the leaves on the bracelet, the original one I bought. And then I'm like, you know, So she really inspired me to come up with something to incorporate leaves into a rainbow loom bracelet. So I give her a ton of credit, and I thank her for her inspiration. She's really inspirational. Okay, so we loomed our single chain all the way up our loom. I'm going to grab another green rubber band and stick it down inside of, or stick my hook down inside all of these bands so we can capture them onto this single band and make it easier when we put our C-clip on. I'm going to push that up. So carefully just pull it off. I know you could yank this sucker off here, but I'm not, because gosh, when you loom with beads, let me tell you that it is trial and error. It takes hours sometimes for me just to put beads on bracelets and then yanking it off and a band breaks. So I guess I just got in the habit of doing it slowly. Oh, I am excited for this one. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it because I used the purple silicone by Rainbow Loom. That really added a great color. And you know what? This makes me think of Looming for Kaylee off of Instagram, because she is always sending these most beautiful, like, erotic colors in her bracelets and such. So there's to you, girlfriend. So you can leave it just like this. What I like to do is take these bunches right here, and I like to put them behind the leaf. You don't, absolutely do not have to do that. It does hide it a bit, but I do like for the leaf to kind of show, because I am the bling, you know, lover here, that I want my bling to show. And using the silicone bands really does beef this up, I tell you. And that's what makes it nice and full. I am loving these colors. The last one I used a lot of the pearl. I did again, but I love that I didn't use white on the leaves. I used this brown, and I love this chain that it's green and then incorporated into like the little knots that we made, brown and green. I think the colors have come out beautifully on this. It's very tropical looking. So there is your Napa Valley bracelet. It is not going to fit all the way around your wrist, but as I mentioned a million times, I just like to make bracelets big enough for the top of my wrist, so that way I can have a single chain underneath and it's not too bulky down there. So I can only assume that all of you fabulous loomers that are watching know how to make a single chain, but we will go ahead and make one and finish this off. I hope that you are just as happy with your bracelet as I am with mine. And please, please hashtag me on Instagram at Chidero_T. My username is down in the description box, as I get the biggest kick out of seeing other people's designs. And the reason being is because there are many times that I will go ahead and design the same bracelet that someone that I've inspired had created, because I get my ideas off of you. Okay, let me see. This might be long enough for me. I'm just gonna go ahead. I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me add one more and make it 7. Okay, so let's grab our CS clip, or you could use a an O-ring. I seem to cannot find my C-clip, so let me grab one quickly. And a lot of people ask me, you know, why do I close all my bracelet with C or S clips? It's because everybody out there, to me, in my mind, uses C clips or S clips. That's the only reason I don't use jump rings. I do sell my bracelets. If I do get buyers. So if you are interested, please hit me up on Instagram, as many have done. But for a customized bracelet, I do put different types of closings on them. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we are going to, because this is a one-sided charm or bead, we want to make sure that we do the back side. Take this C-clip and attach it on the back side here, so when we do flip it over, all of our leaves are on the front. There we go. Oh, I so love it. This is not me. This is like, I don't know, how often you don't see tropical Chidero. Today you do, buddy. I'm loving it. I'm sorry, but I'm so thinking of Looms for Kaylee on Instagram on this one. I got to. It just reminds me of her. So, you know, you can just, it's not hard to maneuver these around, and nothing moves on it. Once it's in, it's in. I thought there was there's another one. So just play around with it and get them to the areas that you like. And there you go. There is your Napa Valley bracelet. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and thank you so much for watching. And a big thank you to all of my Instagram followers for the request to make this bracelet. I'm extremely grateful. So if you like it, please click the like button. Feel free to subscribe, because there's a ton more that's coming up, different ideas and unique beads being used. And until next time, let's bling it.